Alright guys, so welcome to Fail on the Trail, where me, your failure, is going to take you on my hiking adventures and ruin it with my horrible commentary. Today we're out on the Appalachian Trail doing Carvers Gap to 19 East. It's about 15 miles. Starting on top of a mountain, going over some grassy balds and up and down, and then camping overnight and finishing up tomorrow. And yeah, we're about to climb that mountain right there. It's exhausting. All right guys, I'm here at Carvers Gap, and back in the day, it was called McClellan's Gap, like in the 1800s. And there's a young lady who lost her husband. So instead of like getting a job, she kind of became a lady of the night. And her name was Ellen Carver. So she ended up moving out here to McClellan's Gap. But hold on a minute. So she became a prostitute. And all the boys knew that she was a prostitute. So whenever they were in school making jokes about going to see her, they'd go, "You're going to go up to see Ellen at McClellan's Gap." And eventually that story became, go up to see Ellen Carver at Carver's Gap. So as the time went on, it became known as Carver's Gap, which is really just an 1800s joke about going to see a prostitute's private parts. And if you're not here for 1800s prostitute jokes, then I don't know why you're even watching this. All right. So this is the spruce forest part of the trail, and it's pretty cool looking. What I wanted to talk about was Johnny Appleseed, that big fraud. Now, I don't know if you remember Johnny Appleseed from elementary school, the dude that went around the country planting apple trees everywhere, right? You remember watching that stuff as a kid. And everyone thinks, oh, Johnny Appleseed's awesome. He's just a really cool environmentalist dude going around planting apple trees for everybody to enjoy. But that's not the case. The truth was, Johnny Appleseed was an alcoholic. And he's planting all the apple trees so we could get apples to make his own alcohol. So he's basically just a high-functioning alcoholic. And I don't think it's really right that we're teaching all these kids about that fraud alcoholic Johnny Appleseed. But yeah, stay tuned for more. Check this out. What a perfect camp spot. All around us. Alright guys, we are up on top of Round Hill Bald. Look at that. And the reason they call it a bald is because there's no hair on it, just like my wife's arm. Note to self, climbing up a mountain sucks. That looks good. Made it to the top of the mountain. This is called Jane's Bald. Because a lady named Jane used to live up here. And she had a bald cat that people would come visit whenever they were lonely. Look, another mountain to climb. Yeah. All right, we made it to Grassy Knob. Look at this. All right, good place to eat. All right, so we're on the Grassy Knob Trail, and I thought it'd be a good time to talk about some concerns when hiking here. The first one is bears, right? Like, this is bear country, and I don't know if you ever watched that movie, The Grizzly Man. There's this dude named Timothy Treadwell, and he would go out in the Alaskan wilderness every year and study the grizzly bears and get high and stuff, you know, hang out pretty much. And the last year he was up there, it's getting late in the season, kind of around like end of September-ish, kind of like the time it is now. And he was eaten by a grizzly bear. So you really got to be careful about bears this time of year, because, you know, they want to look at that. So nice. They want to eat up as much as they can for their hibernation season, and, you know, if they see you, they're going to eat you. So you got to be careful. So that's why I got my bear spray. It's somewhere down in the bottom of my pack. So I'm prepared as long as I come across a bear and I'm not asleep. As long as I can get to my spray soon enough. So that's the number one concern about hiking out here. Not the grizzly bears, but the black bears. All right, guys, it's getting dark. Looks like a storm might be on the horizon. And the worst place to be in a storm, thunderstorm, lightning, is on top of a mountain above the tree lines. And yeah, I am on a grassy bald. So let's hope we don't get struck by lightning. All right, check this out, guys. Look at this. See this little cave here? Right there? That is an actual place where cavemen used to sleep. That was their home. They would just hang out in the woods, trying to go to bed, go in there, go to sleep, have a roof over their head. Perfect place. Perfect place for a caveman. What a great house. Look, everyone, I found some poop. I don't know if that's bear poop or what, but that's definitely a poop. Maybe a mountain lion, a leopard, a puma, a black panther. I don't know. You know, I was just thinking, since we saw that poop, maybe in a cat poop, maybe puma, that there's a big difference between being killed by a bear and being killed by a cat. If you had the preference, you want to be killed by a cat, because those things go straight through your neck, rip your jugular out, rip your whole throat out, and try and kill you. And I don't know if you've ever seen like a mountain lion. Like, those things will drag you up a tree. Like, those things are strong as hell, dude. But a bear doesn't try to kill you. Like, when I was telling you about that Timothy Treadwell guy earlier, a bear doesn't give a shit. All it wants to do is incapacitate you, so it will just, like, hit you with its claws or bite you or whatever. And once you're down, it'll start eating you alive. And you'll sit there getting eaten alive until you bleed out or it finally like gets an organ or something like that. So like if you have a choice between getting eaten by a cat, some kind of cat species, like a leopard or a grizzly bear, go with the cat, dude, because the grizzly bear will just eat you while you're still alive. That's pretty sick, dude. That's wild. All right, guys. This blue mark means water, unless you're on a different trail. Let me show you what you get to drink when you're out in the middle of the nowhere. Oh, some dude had to check out this morning. Wasn't feeling good last night. He had to bail. Luckily, there's a fire road right here that leads about 2 miles out to the road. He's gonna have someone pick him up. But yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Having an emergency out in the middle of the woods. I mean, lucky for him. All right, here we go. Come on here. This is where we get our water. See that water pipe? And that's what we're gonna be drinking today. Still gotta filter it, but that's the gist of it. Just throw it through your filter. If you don't, you'll get bacteria and get diarrhea, and you don't want to poop out in the woods. Note to self: going uphill really sucks. All right, finally made it up side of the mountain. I was gonna talk about this last night, but whatever. Anyway, we survived the night. Did not get attacked by a bear. Was a little nervous about it. Didn't sleep very well. There's about 20 people there. I don't think anybody practiced any kind of bear safety stuff, like hanging your bags, using a bear bag, cooking outside somewhere else. So I wasn't sure if the bear would smell all the food and just come and eat us up, but the people beside me were like cooking in their tent, so I figured that the bear would go and attack the people with the 4-year-old. And they say, you know, when I'm in Cub Scouts and I was leading, you know, one of the big things was always, ouch, hold on a second. Oh, it's always camp and hike with a buddy, you know, just in case. You know, we're out in the middle of the woods. If I was to fall and break my leg, you know, who knows how long it'd be before a hiker came by, and then they'd have to like go miles to find a ranger and then emergency services. You know, it could be 10, 12 hours before I could come out of here. So I originally had my friend Bial lined up. He never really went camping before, so he was going to go with me, but he didn't have any tents or sleeping bags or any of that stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, you know, Bial, me and you can share a tent together. And he was like, oh, how does that work? You know, and I had to explain him all the basics, like how, you know, like, especially in bear country, you want to put your clothes in the bear bag because they can smell like the food and stuff. So you got to sleep naked. And then that I only had one quilt and we'd have to share together. And he's being a little homophobic, thinking that sleeping in a tent in the middle of the woods with another dude would be gay. And you know, that sounds a little gay on the surface, but I tried to explain to him, like, it's not gay as long as you sleep like penis to penis, right? Because like you can't have sex with another dude if your penises are facing each other. So it's only gay if you like do like spoon and have like you like roll over and then their penis is by your butt. So like BL wasn't really cool with that. He didn't really understand. But you know, it's cool because he's from China, so he doesn't really understand a lot of stuff. So, but you know, he thought it was gay, so he kind of bailed out on me at the last minute. But yeah. So you don't want to get hurt out here. Some dude last night came in and wasn't feeling good. He had to leave this morning. He had to take an emergency logging road out or something like that. He wasn't feeling good. Luckily, he was at a spot where the logging road was at because he wanted me to hike with him this morning, and I really didn't want to take 20 hours to hike out of here. So it's like, how cool is this, man? We're just out in the middle of a field, in the middle of a mountain. No one else around on the Appalachian Trail. Look, there it is. Thousands of people walk this trail every year, from Georgia up to Maine or from Maine down. Like, how cool is that? Here's something else you gotta worry about when you're hiking. Look at this. Just that hole right there, right on the trail. There's a venomous snake hole. You step on it the wrong way, copperhead will pop out, bite you in the leg, out in the middle of nowhere, and you will die. Painful death. You gotta watch out for those snake holes. So, something I've started doing lately, past year or so, is you ever been on that site Nextdoor, like the neighborhood app where people talk about, like, I don't know, like crimes in the neighborhood, people stealing your Cadillac converter, trying to sell services, lost pets, that sort of thing. What I've decided to do is I made an account as my mom in her city, Tullahoma. What I do is I go on Nextdoor every week or two, and I'll just make a stupid comment, like a weird comment about I don't know, whatever it is. Like, one lady was offering what's it called, cleaning services, like detailing your car, you know. So what I did is I messaged her and I said, how much would it cost for you to clean up semen stain? Because my granddaughter Haley took out my car and slept with it with her boyfriend, and now there's a bunch of semen stains on it. And basically just trying to make her seem like this old crazy lady, which is mostly for my own enjoyment. My mom had no idea. So this past week, my mom's an old cat lady. Someone posted a picture of a lost cat. They said, oh, does anyone know who this cat is? He's been hanging around my house, and I don't know if he has a home. So I was like, oh, that's my cat Randy. He just likes to roam around the neighborhood and have sex with all the female cats around the neighborhood. And I sent it to my sister. Later that day, my sister goes to my mom's house, and who does she see? Fucking Randy. That was actually my mom's cat. It was fucking crazy, dude. It was awesome. Look at that. This is why we hike up hills. For this. Yeah, if you're ever bored, just go on the Nextdoor app. There's your mom, and just post some crazy ass shit. It's pretty funny. Oh, look at this, dude. Look at this. I'm not sure if that's poop. Like an owl pellet, where they eat stuff and throw it up, but that looks kind of like a hairy poop. Maybe like a bear chased down a deer and ate it. That it made its poop all hairy like that. Oh, that's pretty nasty, dude. Look at that. Look at these random ass boulders here. up on top of a mountain like that. Like, I bet they were made just like the pyramids. That's wild, man. Wow. All right, guys, we're gonna take a detour. Go over to these boulder pyramids that I found. Look at this. This is like being on the pyramids of Gaza. Just flat, grassy land. Giant ass boulder. Look at that. Oh, look, someone's camping up here. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows who pulled these boulders up that hill? Maybe that Greek guy. Remember him? Oh, shoot. Don't want to wake him up. It's still like 9 in the morning, cold. Do you guys believe in aliens? Like, I was just thinking, like, you know, do you think Jesus is the savior, king in heaven of the aliens too? Like, did he go to some random ass planet, die for their sins? It was like Jesus came to Earth and died. Does that cover the aliens too? I mean, pretty weird. They're like aliens and they die, they go to heaven. When they meet Jesus, he's like a human dude, not an alien dude. Like, that'd be weird, man. I don't know. See, this is why I like backpacking. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, no one else around. Just living the life. Look at this. No kids, no work. 10, 20 miles away from everything else. Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that until we go uphill. Then it sucks. All right, we're off the mountain going back to the forest area, and you know, I was driving up here and I passed Davy Crockett's birthplace or home, I don't know, something like that. And here in Tennessee, Davy Crockett is like the folk hero, kind of like Johnny Appleseed. And because of Davy Crockett, he was like the king of the wild frontier. But you know, he wasn't really. They say he killed a bear. I don't really believe it. Maybe he killed one like that was already dead or sick. But you know, he went out, he killed a bear. Maybe with help from some of the Native Americans. Probably because he had a gun. I mean, you know, that's not a fair fight. A scared bear versus a gun. But he's a fraud too. But what I don't like about Davy Crockett is a couple things. Number one is that he would kill raccoons and then skin them, and then he wore a raccoon skin hat. So now, if you live in the state of Tennessee, your state animal is a raccoon, and it's not because like raccoons are cool or anything. It's because Davy Crockett wore a raccoon on his hat, and then he went around and met a bunch of people, and he's like, "Oh, I'm from Tennessee." So whenever anyone else met anyone from Tennessee, they're like, "Oh yeah, I met Davy Crockett. You guys like raccoons there." And so now we got like known for like liking raccoons and stuff. And I think Davy Crockett, he went down to the Alamo, which is a big like U.S. history thing where like they told us Texas was fighting for their freedom from Mexico, but if you actually look into it, it was actually like Texas wanted to have slaves, and Mexico was like, "Yo, slavery is not cool, yo." And Texas is like, "Well, then we're gonna go to war with you." So Davy Crockett is like, "Well, shit, Texas needs their slaves. I'm gonna go down and fight for slavery." So, you know, Davy Crockett's not that cool either. He's probably worse than that drunk Johnny Appleseed. I mean, he sounds like a real jerk. You know, I'm not gay or anything, but if I was, and I had to sleep with someone from another race, like maybe Chinese, like I would definitely pick my friend Biao, because I think trust is a big issue in relationships. And if you're going to sleep with someone, it should be someone you know. I mean, yeah, I did invite him to go out in the middle of the woods and get naked and sleep in the tent with another man. And, you know, I had no intentions of having gay sex with him or anything. But I'm just saying, if he wanted to stick his dumpling into my sauce, you know, if I had to, like, you know, if you had a gun to my head and you said, hey, you got to sleep with an Asian man or I'm going to kill your kids, I mean, it'd be Bial. Like, he's a pretty hot and sexy dude. I think I'd pick Bial. You know, one of the big fears in backpacking, I kind of talked about bears already, and I talked about getting hurt, being with a buddy, and, you know, being out in the middle of nowhere, is taking a dump in the woods. Because, you know, we're civilized people, but we're out here in the middle of the woods. There's no bathroom. You gotta go. I mean, you gotta go. So you just kind of gotta go off the trail, lean up against a tree, dig a hole, and drop a deuce. But you know, it's pretty crazy, man. Like, people don't like taking a dump outside. Like, it's a big fearful experience. So what I like to do is take like a Imodium, like 2 or 3 before my trip. That way, oh, here's a good spot. That way, if I take some Imodium, that generally probably I'm not gonna have to take a dump until I get home. So depending on how long the day is, but if you're hiking on the Appalachian Trail, I mean, you know, some of the shelters have a privy, which is, you know, just a toilet seat, just, you know, right in front of everybody where everybody can see you. But, you know, like right here, you don't want to go into this bush. Like, there's nowhere to take a dump. But I mean, you know, it's not bad. I was reminded of a story. I haven't really told anybody this before, but I was about 6 years old, right? And I was at home playing out in my backyard. And you got to remember, my grandpa lived right behind us, right? So I was out there, and I saw a dog, one of our dogs, take a dump. And I was like, dang, what in the world it would be like to be like a dog and take a dump out here in the grass. So I looked around, no one was there. I went in my backyard, just some bushes, you know. So I pulled down my pants, squatted down, took a dump, and you know, wiped with some leaves. Probably not nearly enough, but what happened was I didn't realize that my grandpa was retired, so he was always outside and could see clearly. So he's sitting at his house drinking coffee at his table, looks out his window, and he sees me squatting down taking a dump. So he comes over later that night. He tells my mom, he's like, yo, I saw Corey taking a dump in the backyard. So my mom calls me in there, and she's like, Corey, did you poop in the backyard? And I was like, no. So we all went out there, right where I took a dump, and there's a turd. And you know, you can kind of tell what a dog turd looks like and a human turd looks like. There's a pretty big difference, you know. So I lied. I kept to my guns. You know, I didn't tell the interrogators that I had actually taken a dump in the backyard. So I had to take a bath, and then I was grounded the next day for pooping in the backyard. But yeah, you know, like, it's a real fear people have, man. Like, girls, you know, a guy, he can just walk to the side of the trail, unzip his trousers, pull out his wiener, and go pee. A girl, it's not nearly as easy, man. I don't know how all that works. You got to squat down or what, but you know, you don't want to. Girls have it a lot tougher, man. They just, compared to guys, they have a lot harder life than us, man. Especially out in the backcountry where they can't pee. I guess they can. They make little like funnels they can pee in, but you know, peeing and poopy out in the wild is definitely a concern you have to get over if you're going to be backpacking out here. All right, guys, I don't know if you can see this, but the trail kind of goes around that way and curves around. Let me zoom in. We're about to have to climb up that mountain. That's a hump mountain. It's a big hump mountain, you know, because people can hump. See that? See that little trench? That's the trail. It goes all the way through there, all the way around there, all the way up to the top of that mountain, man. Like, yeah. So if you make it up that, you know, you deserve to get humped. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, look at this. We found some bear poop. See all the berries inside it? Look at that scat. You know it's bear poop because of all the berries inside it. That's definitely bear. So we're gonna keep our eye open for some more bears, maybe some more bear poop. But it's kind of rude that they have this whole mountain to themselves basically, and they want to poop on the trail. I mean, they could pick a better place to poop. Oh, look at this one. That's a big bear poop, man. That one looks fresh. Look at that scat. Right in the middle of the trail, man. You're not looking at where you're going. You can step right in that bear poop, man. Going. The good part is the views. 360-degree views. Bad part is it's cold. There's nothing to stop the wind. Let's get up the hump now. Pass out. Shh. Check out that butterfly. Look at that. So this right here is a red berry tree. Like when we were looking at the bear poop earlier, all the red berries in it, like it's coming from this tree right over here. So definitely some prime bear territory we're in right here. See if we can see any. It'd be crazy if we got attacked like that dude on that mountain. The bear just came over the thing and like started attacking him and fell off the side of the mountain. That was cool, dude. All right, still going up hump. All right. Look at this. All right, guys. Made it to the top of the mountain. It's all downhill. See it? 5,587. All right, guys, look at this. There's circling up here. This is the hurricane coming in on the East Coast. Just got over Hump Mountain. Now I understand that they call it Hump Mountain because you're so exhausted when you get to the top. If anyone wanted to lay on top of you and hump you, there's really nothing you can do about it. You're just going to have to take it. So, it's going to be all downhill from here, so that is good news for us. All right, guys. It's cold. It's windy. I have to get my big jacket on. Apparently there's a hurricane coming in on the East Coast. I think his name is Martha, Hurricane Martha. So hopefully we'll make it back to our car before the weather gets bad here. Kind of see where we're going. Go down this way a little bit, around that mountain, start heading downhill, down to probably around that road down there. That's probably it. I don't know. Got a couple more hours ahead of me. Yeah. Other thing I wanted to talk about, like dangers. We talked about weather, bears, getting hurt, you know, that sort of thing. Is this hike specifically is the inbreds, because we're right in the heart of Appalachia. You know, like we all know about the inbreds. We've seen Deliverance, you know, where they've everyone lives in the same community. They're all sleeping with their brother and sister and cousin, having babies, and you know, the whites of West Virginia. So that's kind of the area we're in. And you know, you've seen Deliverance. Like those guys are looking to have some sex with anyone they can find, especially to break up that inbred cycle. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, one of those inbreeds in this area, they catch you up on the mountain by yourself. You know, it's no way to really defend yourself, man. You know, this is their home. You gotta be careful. So whenever you're in that Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia sort of bubble, I mean, you just gotta watch your back, man. You never know where an inbred is gonna come up behind you, try and take you from behind. Man or woman, you know, they don't care. Anything to get out of that inbred cycle, man. They're just looking for sex. Look, guys, here's another caveman house I found. Can't really tell, but if you walk up in here, look down there. Perfect place to get out of the weather. You know, they were a lot smaller than people today, so they could really just tuck up under there and go to sleep, and this was their home, man. A lot of history on this trail. Like, a lot of cool caveman stuff. All right, guys. About 5 minutes from the end of the hike. So we're gonna call it a trip. We'll see you next time on Fail in the Trail with your favorite failure. Goodbye.